A very good Saturday morning. More than 1,000 people waiting to see the bet coming, and we had to make it a little bit special now that we're into the season, adding Mike Craig to the show. Mike, welcome to the release shows. Good to have somebody from Right Angle Sports, perhaps the face of Right Angle Sports now. You're becoming a bit of a media mogul, hopping around radio stations, now on the release shows. How's it feel to be getting into the content side?
I guess it's good. I'd love one of these other guys from RAS to get on one time. No, it's good. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
The behind-the-scenes petition is starting. There's constant pressure. We'll see what happens as the release shows go into the season. Very good to see everybody here in the chat. And there was a question, why don't you just start it at 10:31 a.m. Eastern instead of starting it at the 10:30? We got to let everybody get in. We got to let everybody realize what time it is. It's a Saturday morning. Everybody's busy, so it's good to see so many familiar faces back for another week. For those of you that are new, before we get into the pick, before we hear what Mike has to say about the pick, just want to encourage everybody to hit the subscribe button down below, but also just want to set the expectations for what we're going to get here. Mike and the team at Right Angle Sports are professionals. When they're betting, the numbers in the market are moving every single time that they make a bet, every single time that they send out a bet. And so what we want to do is gather everyone together and take them through a release procedure to get to the same spot at the same time, so everybody can click submit on their bet to get the bet in at the same time. And so how it's going to work is very, very simple. We're going to start by saying what game you want to set up. And so the step one here is you're going to go through your sportsbook app or your sportsbook on the desktop, find the game that we're telling you to set up. You're going to find it and add it to your bet slip. Now, you don't want to bet it yet. You just want to have it set up and put in your bet slip, put in the risk amount, get ready, be on standby, and we're going to say one of two things. We're going to tell you either go or cancel. If we say go, you want to click submit bet immediately because these things are going to start moving. You want to get the bet in before everything goes. We say go, you want to click it immediately. If we say cancel, you want to remove it from the bet slip. We will not be betting anything that comes with a cancel. And so what you need to do is get it out of the bet slip, get back to the betting menu because we will not be betting that game. And we put cancels in this show because if we didn't, well, then people would just jump the line and nobody in the chat would be able to get the play. So we want to keep it fair for everyone, get you to the same spot. So with all that said, Mike, ready to get to the first setup of this Saturday morning?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So the first setup for everybody in the chat is game number 394, Tulsa, Mississippi, under 65.5. And that is at 4 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. Pacific, 394, Tulsa, Mississippi, under 65.5, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. We will give everybody about 15 to 20 seconds to find this game, set up under 65.5, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Game number 394, Tulsa, Mississippi, under 65.5 at 4 p.m. Eastern is a cancel. Not betting Tulsa, Mississippi, under 65.5, despite somebody's best efforts to do so. We saw the line light up there just in a couple spots. This is not a bet. It is a cancel. So if you had it in your bet slip, remove it from your bet slip, and we will get on to setup number 2. For the second setup of this Saturday morning, we are looking at game number 319, UMass Temple, over 44. And this game is at 2 p.m. Eastern time, 11 a.m. Pacific. You have to do a little bit of scrolling to get back up to this game within the menu. 319, UMass Temple, over 44, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. We'll give everybody about 10 more seconds to get to game number 319, UMass Temple, over 44, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Can have this set up in your bet slip. We will say if it is a go or a cancel in just less than 10 seconds. 319, UMass Temple, over 44, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, is a cancel. Starting the morning off with 2 cancels. This is not a bet. If you have it in your bet slip, remove it from your bet slip. And we'll move on to the third setup. People want to hear from Mike. We'll hear from Mike as soon as Ed determines whether something is a go or a cancel. Moving through it, but people want Mike. We'll get Mike in just a second. Continuing on with these setups. Game number 361, Duke, Kansas, over 63.5, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Setup number 3 is game number 361, Duke, Kansas, over 63.5. And this is at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. So we'll let you get back to the Sportsbook app, scroll all the way to the top, find game number 361, Duke, Kansas, over 63.5, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. We'll give everybody another 5 to 10 seconds to find 361, Duke, Kansas, over 63.5 at 12 p.m. Eastern. Game number 361, Duke, Kansas, over 63.5 is a go. We are betting Duke, Kansas, over 63.5. As you're betting this, jump into the chat. Let us know what number you were able to get, where you were able to find it. Mike Craig, you're into the show now officially. We had you causing some dramatic pauses. People were noticing what's going on, trying to get the read on the play. But as we get Duke, Kansas in at over 63.5, and this number starts to move up, let's talk about this one. What did you make the number? What had you guys intrigued by the over?
Mid to upper 60s for the number is what we made it mathematically. Kansas an interesting team, of course. Typically a doormat in the Big 12, but have a coach there who's really turning it around. They've been very good offensively so far. Tricky team to adjust, but we've upgraded their offense quite significantly so far this year. Defensively, still looks like they have some work to do. Duke's another interesting one because they have a new offensive coordinator. They've actually been, we think they've been better than what their scores have shown so far. So against Temple, they really dominated Temple in the first half. Didn't really try to do anything from, maybe like the mid-second quarter on in that game. They just cruised. So kind of throw out a lot of that game in terms of what they didn't do offensively, because when they were trying, they actually did play very well offensively. The Northwestern game, again, played very well offensively. You had some craziness at the end of that game. We actually released over. It ended up being a loser for our service, but there was a stop at the goal line. Duke was going in, and then Northwestern came back to try to tie it. They fumbled at the goal line going in. So a case could be made that there should have been another 11 points in that game. So, throwing out some of that stuff and looking at it subjectively, just think there's some upside to this over here today, and the math reflected it. So that's where we got it.
So gotta pry here a little bit now that we have you on here for the show. In terms of the opponents Duke has played, you said that there's been a lot of variance in sort of skill that they have quality-wise. How hard is that for you guys internally to sort of conceptualize or put a number on when you're trying to evaluate just how good that other side is to sort of quantify what Duke has or hasn't done? Is that a big challenge?
I think the thing we're good at, and the reason that it's an advantage to have a team the size that we have, is we've got guys watching these games, and we see how teams change throughout a game. Numerically, it is difficult to put values on these things. We do get some math that throws out garbage time from someone, but yeah, a lot of it's just watching games, and maybe there's some weather issues in a game that created a situation where a team didn't score as much or didn't play the style they want to play, and those are the kind of things that we're making notes of and discussing all the time. And like I said, with a team, it's much easier than if you're just an individual person. So we're seeing more than, when you have 20 eyes looking at games and screens and everything, it's a lot better than just 2.
And then if you had to sort of pull back the curtain a little more, you said you have the team, you're sort of narrowing down the entire card. As it gets to a Saturday morning situation, how much more difficult is it to sort of discern value when you're looking at an over 63.5? Like, are you waiting the entire week for something to happen? Are you looking at this number, still seeing a lot of value because of market conditions, or do those sort of barometers change on how much value you need at a time like this when the market's the biggest?
The way the market is now, everything, I mean, the market's really formed on a Tuesday afternoon, really, at this point. So as the week goes on, it does. I think you're trying to find more hidden things, the obvious things like I mean, I'd have loved to given out Ball State over 60.5 today, but that was 67 by Tuesday afternoon, or maybe 65 by Tuesday afternoon, something like that. So yeah, as we get later in the week, that's where the stuff we do, I think, tends to come into play a little more, where we're finding the hidden things that maybe other people aren't seeing, or we're just looking for things like that are hidden, that aren't completely obvious. And really, at this point of the week, that's really all you have left, because anything that's numerically off significantly is probably going to have been put into place earlier in the week.
So we've seen this bet up so far from the show to 65 and 65.5. Reminder to everybody that the guys at Right Angle Sports do have the plus service at handicapper.net. College bets have been perfect on that for the season. Mike, tell everybody what they can expect here in about 10 minutes as you guys release another bet.
So I mean, it's $10 a play. It's just a way for us. I mean, our service has always been geared towards a higher end bettor, just the means to try to reach more people and allow more people access to our plays. So the plus service, we release one play every Saturday morning. It's only $10. Into a mature market. Last week, half times are a possibility in these. So last week our play was Iowa -13 first half, which they were up 17-0. So like you said, we're 3-0 on that so far this year. And yeah, that'll be coming out here shortly.
Excellent. So that'll be up in 10 minutes over at handicapper.net for everybody to get over and get a second bet. Mike, the reviews are raving in the chats. Everybody wants more Mike, so we'll get you back for another show next week. The bet, Duke, Kansas, over 63.5. Early start. Let's get some points to begin this Saturday. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everybody in the channel, for joining. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning for an NFL release from Right Angle Sports, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.